If you are watching this video, you are using NX Nastran and you're interested in using the Sol 200 web app. Whenever you're using a version of Nastran or a type of Nastran, compatibility is a big question. So the answer, or rather the question we're asking today and the answer we want, will NX Nastran work with the Sol 200 web app? Now, the answer is it depends. If you want to perform basic size optimization, it's most likely you will be able to use the Sol 200 web app, but there are some incompatibilities that we have to discuss. So in this video, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to set up or how to perform an optimization with NX Nastran. And then I'll briefly discuss the incompatibilities there are with NX Nastran and the Sol 200 web app. Now, the incompatibilities are here because the Sol 200 web app was exclusively developed for MSC Nastran. Now, I found out that a lot of engineers out there will find benefit from using the web app if they are trying to configure an optimization with NX Nastran. So that's part of the reason why today I made this video. Now, let me see here what we have on the agenda and make sure I'm at where I am. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the following. Now, let's get an example. I am not going to walk through how to set up an optimization. There are almost 100 tutorials at theengineeringlab.com. Let's go there now. I forget the number. I can't remember if it's 50, 70, or closer to 100, but there are a lot of tutorials showing you all the exact steps you need to do to configure an optimization with the web app. We're not interested in all the steps. We're just interested in the steps that you need for NX Nastran. So here you go to the optimization web app. Let's go ahead and extract the content. So here you can see I already have an existing optimization, so I'm just going to import this to the web app. So you go through the work of creating your variables, your objective, and your constraints. If you have subcases, mark all the checkboxes and assign your constraints to your subcases. And then here we go to the exporter and click download now. So all of this until now, this is the procedure you would follow for NX Nastran. This is where you now diverge. This desktop icon will start MSC Nastran, but this is where you stop. You need to manually run NX Nastran. So let's go ahead and dig for the Nastran executable. So here we'll go ahead and go to the vmap directory, go to the bin, and here we have our Nastran executable rather. Let's go ahead and create a desktop icon because later we are going to need it. Double click on the Nastran executable file, navigate to that working directory. And here, let me make sure I am where I'm at. Right, go to the Nastran working directory, click on model.bdf and run it. And when you try and run this, you will get a fatal message. Actually, you will get multiple fatal messages. And that's because of the incompatibilities. And this is where I take time and describe the 5 incompatibilities. You will save a lot of time building the optimization in the web app. But then there are some adjustments that you need to make sure this works with NX Nastran. The incompatibilities can be categorized into 2 categories. The first one, category A, that's user fatal message 307. The second category is user fatal message 316. What does the first category mean? Let's suppose that you try to use this bulk data entry, MBL HDF5, I think it's 2. This only works in MSC Nastran, not NX Nastran. So this would give you UFM 307. What's happening here, this field, whatever's in this field is not supported. So not supported. This sometimes happens if you try to use a bulk data entry between the different Nastrans that are not supported, or you accidentally make a typo. So P-shell as an example. That's supported in both Nastrans, but suppose I made a mistake and I typed in M at the end, P-shell M. This will also give me UFM 307 because Nastran does not recognize this bulk data entry. So that's the first category. What about the second category, category B? This usually means that there is a field that is not supported. So mat1 as an example, the ID is 101. I believe what's defined here. But basically what that second category means is that there is a field that it's not used. I'll give you an example, the grid entry. The grid entry starts with grid 101, and then let me try to remember. I think this is the X position, the Y position, and the Z position. I think this is what the grid entry looks like. I forget. Actually, let's go ahead and dig out an actual grid entry here. So grid, okay, X or 1, 2, that is blank. Right. Okay, I think I got it right here. So here, the grid entry is typically at most 9 fields or 10 fields. It's only one row. If you accidentally try to define additional fields, and here I think I have the formatting wrong here. Okay, that's why I look a little off. If you accidentally try to put data where it doesn't exist or it should not exist, like here in field 12, I put this variable, NX Nastran will read this and say, hey, nothing, there should be nothing in field 12. And then it will give you this error message, user fatal message 316. Hey, hello, there is unfamiliar fields being supplied. So that's what the second category is. And now let me walk you through all the different incompatibilities there are with this example. So let me close some of these text files. And the first category. So this optimization has the HDF5 out or the MDL-PRM entry. So if you go back to the bulk data file here, at the very end is this bulk data entry. If you delete that or you comment it, that user fatal message will go away. So remember, let's go ahead and see 307, right? So this is the user fatal message that we get. Illegal name for bulk data entry, MDL-PRM. NX Nastran is saying, hey, I don't know what entry this is. That's because it doesn't exist for NX Nastran. So what do? We went ahead and either deleted it or commented that file. And now what we can do is rerun that bulk data file with NX Nastran. Now, that error may be gone, but we might get additional errors because of other incompatibilities. Here, it looks like the file is now running. And now get results. Let's go ahead and see if I get optimization results. And let me see if this has been reloaded. Okay, let's go to the end. Okay, perfect. So you can see that I now get optimization results. This optimization was performed with MSC Nastran before, but here after some adjustment, we got it to run with NX Nastran. Here we go to the very top, you'll see that we get this verbiage, hey, this is a NX Nastran from CMN, yada, yada, yada. Okay, then let's talk about the other incompatibilities that you might find. DDVal. DDVal lets you specify specific values that you want for your final variables. So I'll give you an example. Say your define ply number variables. At the end of your ply number optimization, you could get fractional ply numbers like 7.5 or 1.2 ply numbers. And you might tell yourself, hey, this isn't what I want. I want integers. So with the DDVal, you can actually specify, hey, take on values of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so on. So at the end of the optimization, you get integers like this, maybe 8 ply numbers. Here, maybe you get one apply number. So that's what a DD val entry does. It lets you force the optimizer to land on specific values. But there is a problem. This entry, NX Nastran, is kind of picky about that entry. So here's an example where NX Nastran does not like the format. You can see that I've defined 0.001 and then a through by set of values. NX Nastran does not like this. If you run this in MSC Nastran, it's perfectly fine. It will run the optimization just fine. But NX Nastran does not like that. So let's do a quick test. Let's go ahead and find that DD val entry. Let's go ahead. Oh, here it is. So that would be this value here, 0.001, and let's go ahead and type that all out. Okay, let's go ahead and try and run this with NX Nastran. Now, I'm using a very old version of NX Nastran, so it's possible they fixed this issue and it's no longer a problem. But that's something I saw, and I thought it'd be worth discussing today. And so here we see that. User fatal message 315, format error on bulk data entry DD val. Now, this one took me a while. I didn't know that this was a problem. So what I had to do was I had to manually separate that entry into multiple lines. So let's go ahead and do that right now. And let's go and see if we get results now. And it looks like the optimization went through successfully now. So this was another incompatibility. You have to be careful with the DD val entry. NX Nastran does not like this format. If you use through and by, every through and by should have their own rows. And then all the other values that you want to specify can be on the same rows. So here maybe 8.0, so something like that would work. This is not a problem with MSC Nastran. If you run this in MSC Nastran, it's perfectly fine, but I found this as a problem in NX Nastran, so it was worth documenting here. The next error, some values are not always supported by NX Nastran. So here, let's go ahead and define a DRUSP1. This DRUSP1 runs just fine in MSC Nastran. Let's go ahead and run this with MSC Nastran actually. And optimization takes a few moments. Let's go ahead and open that. So if we go to the top of the F06 file, now it's saying, hey, this is MSC Nastran that was used. And then at the end, we have this set of optimization results. So this ran in MSC Nastran. Let's run this with NX Nastran. And it instantly failed. And let's go ahead and look at the F06 file. Let's go to the fatal message here. User fatal message 316, illegal data on bulk data entry DRUSP1. And you might be thinking, okay, what's the problem here? Let's go ahead and copy this. So this was the error we had. And now what's the problem? This DRUSP1 entry is defining the following. This DRUSP1 entry is configured to get the response at a node for an eigenvector. So we're performing a normal modes analysis. We have eigenvectors that maybe we want to correlate with the physical test. So that's what it's doing. Get the displacement response for the third component of displacement, which would be the third degree of freedom or the Z component, at node 3 for mode 1. And here, this would be for mode 2. Let's go ahead and update some of these IDs. NX Nastran, at least in this version, did not support responses for eigenvectors. So that's what's causing the problem. This field is not supported in NX Nastran. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and copy and replace this old DRUS entry. Let's rerun this with NX Nastran, and let's go ahead and see if that works. Let's go to the F06 file, and if I look at the bottom, now it looks like I get optimization results. Perfect. So we fixed that error. So that's the next incompatibility. Eigenvectors are not supported as a response in NX Nastran. Now, the next one is regarding the D screen entry. If you go to the settings section, you configure a sensitivity analysis. Here on the right, you see all the additional D screen entries that were added to the bulk data file. So if I download this, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and rename the zip file and let's extract the contents. Let's look in the bulk data file here. You see all these D screen entries. Not each of these are supported in NX Nastran. So let's go ahead and run NX Nastran. And it immediately stopped. Let's go ahead and look inside. And now we get all these error messages. D screen AE monitor point 1 is not supported. Here, absolute stress, asyncs, all these different responses are not supported. Even buckling, you cannot, or maybe buckling is not even supported. I have to double check the documentation, but here it's giving me an error that D screen llama, which is the buckling load factor, is not supported for the D screen entry. So what do? You go and find that llama response. Let me see if I can find it here. So we'll go ahead and comment that so it's ignored. We'll rerun NX Nastran. And then if we look for the F06 file for llama, it's no longer there. So that error has been fixed. So now you have to go one by one and figure out which ones are not supported. But this list has been updated. If you want this list, just send me a message and I'm more than glad to give you this list. If you copy and paste that here, this has commented all the D screen configurations which are not supported. Weight, volume, disk, strain, and so on and so on. So let's go ahead and do this and click run. And I think it worked or not. Let's go ahead and see if it worked. Seems like I still have an error. Oh, I forgot to comment and remove this MDL-PRM. Let's go ahead and remove that and rerun this. Okay, let's go ahead and check and see what's happening. Okay, perfect. So I believe this one only performed a sensitivity analysis. So that's what happened here. So all these D screen entries that are supported in MSC Nastran, they are not all supported in NX Nastran. Weight, volume, eigenvalue, complex eigenvalue, natural frequency, a buckling load factor, some fatigue sensitivities. NX Nastran does not support outputting gradients for these other responses. So what we had to do is manually disable those problematic D screen entries. After we did that, then NX Nastran ran successfully. Now, the next incompatibility has to do with the natural frequency. So here, if I add this example, so let's renumber this. So this is saying, hey, get the first natural frequency for mode 1. Let's try to run that with NX Nastran. And then I believe I get user fatal message 316, I believe. Let's go ahead and look. Right, so we get UFM 316, illegal data on bulk data entry due RESP 1. So remember, this has to do with a specific field that's not supported. So in this case, the unsupported field is struck. Now, MSC Nastran supports acoustic optimization, so you need to differentiate between which natural frequency do you want. Do you want it for the structure or do you want it for the acoustic cavity, which is the error? Here, NX Nastran does not support anything in this field. So what you would do is you would just delete that. So if we do that and save it, then NX Nastran should run. Let's go ahead and redo this. And let's look at the very end. Perfect. Now we get optimization results. So that was the next incompatibility. So these are the 5 more or less incompatibilities there are. You can use the speed of the web app to configure your optimization. And then you can address these 5 incompatibilities. And so you can quickly build your optimization with the web app, run it with NX Nastran, and get your results. Now, there are a few additional things that are worth noting here. MSC Nastran has a lot of additional optimization capabilities that are not found with NX Nastran. If you want to do this with NX Nastran, maybe you have to use a different program. For example, topology optimization. I believe topology optimization for NX Nastran is performed by a separate tool. If you want to do shape optimization, I believe NX Nastran has its own shape optimization capabilities. I should mention that this table is kind of a summary of what's supported. If you want to do simple size optimization, the Soul 200 web app does have a good amount of compatibility. You can use the web app to configure almost all of your optimization. All you need to do is watch out for those incompatibilities I mentioned before. But these other advanced optimization methods that are in MSC Nastran, like topology, topometry, topography, those are not in NX Nastran. If you want to do machine learning, if you want to do multi-model optimization, these are other capabilities that are not supported in NX Nastran. So even though the web app does show you how to configure this is not going to work in NX Nastran. Topology, machine learning, uncertainty quantification, the advanced optimization examples, shape optimization. What's only compatible are the size optimization examples. So if you go to the user's guide, you go to the tutorial section, you'll find a lot of examples. If you go to the size section, most of these examples should work. The 3-bar truss, sensitivity analysis, the stiffened plate, the simple composite optimization examples should work. But things like acoustic optimization, multi-model optimization, global optimization, that is not going to work with NX Nastran. These topology optimization examples, these are not going to work with NX Nastran. These only work with MSC Nastran. Here you'll find some machine learning tutorials. These only work with MSC Nastran, not NX Nastran, and so on and so on. So again, the table gives you an idea of what's supported and what's not. Basically, if you want to resize the thicknesses of P-shell, if you want to do gauge thickness optimization, if you want to vary the dimensions of beam elements, you can do this with size optimization. But the moment you want to decide, okay, I have C-hexa tetrahedral elements, I want to remove material and add material, maybe with topology or shape optimization, this is not going to work. Okay, let me look here. Some comments about FEMAP. Right, so I am aware that FEMAP supports size optimization, but there are a few things that the web app does a little differently. Number one, it shows you here on the right which entries you are configuring. A lot of the time when you're using a tool like a preprocessor to build your optimization, you have no idea what you're doing in terms of the bulk data entries. When you create a design variable here on the left, you never see that you're modifying a desvar entry. But here in the web app, here for the upper bound, I'll make it 999. Notice here on the right, it's immediately updated the upper bound to 999. This is something you don't see in a preprocessor like FEMAP. You don't know exactly what you're modifying. The other thing, let's suppose I made a mistake. Here, the upper bound is -50. That's going to cause an error during the optimization. Let's go ahead and do this again and again. And let's go ahead and shrink this. And when you look at this configuration, you think, hey, everything's okay. I've done everything properly. But then when you go to the exporter, you get an error message saying, hey, we found problematic entries. Click here, fix the problems. Every entry gets its own error message. Is there a mistake? Red means bad, blue means good. Here, I made an error with the upper bound. I get instructions on how to fix this. This is something that FEMAP does not have. Their newer tool, NX or NXCAE, I forget what it's called. This is something they don't have. You have to go on a treasure hunt trying to find what the problem is. And that's a big problem. If you have to find a very large optimization, you have to dig through hundreds of bulk data entries, thousands of fields, just trying to find that one error. You have to dig through the F06 file, trying to find that one problem. And so you find out that you might spend days or weeks trying to get just one optimization. And here I'm telling you, if you found the web app and you're thinking of using it, hey, save yourself the time. Try using the web app. Don't spend hours, weeks. Don't spend hours building your own tools just to build one optimization. Save yourself the time. Here you can see how quickly we can configure the optimization and get it going. Yes, there are 5 incompatibilities, but guess what? Now you know how to address those incompatibilities. A lot of these examples that you find in the user's guide, those examples are going to work with NX Nastran, perhaps with some adjustments. Now, one more thing before we end off. Here's my contact information, or specifically my email address. If you have any questions related to optimization with Nastran, NX or machine learning with Nastran, if you want to learn how to do more complex composites, shape, uncertainty quantification, maybe optimization under uncertainty, you can contact me with those questions. If you're thinking about building your own in-house tools to do something specific, I have years of experience doing this. I know a million ways to do it wrong, but 5 ways of doing it right. So if you need someone there to help guide you on the best way to build an in-house tool, feel free to send me an email message. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. So there you have it. To answer our first question, will NX Nastran work with the SOL 200 web app? The answer is yes, but be careful with the incompatibilities. Yes, you can use the web app to quickly build out your optimization, but if you found an incompatibility, that's okay. We know what to do, given everything I've discussed in this video. So there you have it. As always, if you have questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me, and thank you for watching.